The world of professional cycling can be a savage place to be. Elbow to elbow racing, rider versus machine, all pitted in the mountains. The hunt for glory is truly on. However, sometimes these things don't quite go to plan. Those winning images and those ideas of glory, well, they can turn to dust for certain riders, or even worse.
Jumbo-Visma's Milan Vader in critical condition after crashing in the race.
Milan Vader is a 26-year-old cross-country racer from Middelburg in the Netherlands, racing for Team Jumbo-Visma. Milan has been following a brilliant route to success, beginning his career in 2013 as a junior, securing a Dutch national championship title in XCO, a feat which he repeated as an under-23 in 2015 and 16, and again in 2019 and 2020 as an elite rider. Vader also has 3 XCO World Cup podiums to his name. A third place at Leergang in 21, second and third places from Nové Město Namaravi's double-header in 2020, and a 4th place in the XC short track at the same event. Like many talented cross-country racers, Milan also raced on the road, but sadly this is where it came all crashing down. This wasn't just a broken wrist and a hiatus from racing there. No, the injuries were much more severe and actually turned out to be life-threatening. But the fairy tale is not an easy one to live out, so I'm on my way to go catch up with Milan down in the pits as he gets ready for cross-country short track tonight. Milan, firstly, thank you for joining me, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I want to find out a little bit more about, obviously, what went on in the past. So what kind of recollection do you have of your crash? Like, what kind of memories?
From the crash itself, basically nothing.
No, really?
No, the first memory I had was in the hospital.
Just sort of eyes open?
Yeah, I was in anesthesia for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's not that you wake up from one to the other day, it's like a slow process.
Really?
But the first thing I remember was that I woke up in the morning and I really needed to pee. And somehow I knew my dad was around.
Yeah.
And then I think a few hours later my dad walked in and the first thing I asked him, like, I really need to pee. Can we go to a toilet or is there a toilet somewhere here?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we can try, but you won't come far. And yeah, at that moment I didn't even realize what happened at all.
Did you understand the extent of what had happened? Like that, just how, like just what sort of the seriousness of the injuries or anything?
Yeah, that came later when I was a bit more awake. Yeah, my dad and my parents told me what happened, and that I was really lucky to survive.
Wow.
And that was a really emotional moment. I still can get emotional, but for me it was absolutely fine because I know how I felt there and that was okay. But just that I saw what it did to my parents, like those insecure moments, that made me really emotional. So
I bet.
I only realized a couple of months later what actually happened.
Really took that long?
Yeah, because I think the second or third day that I woke up, I was already calling with the nutritionist of the team because the food was like it sucked in the hospital and I was like I cannot recover like this. So I called the nutritionist. First I asked the nurses from the hospital, like, can you give me a menu of the week so I can send it to my nutritionist? And they were like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The nutritionist was also laughing a bit, like he said, yeah, I looked at the menu and pay attention to this and this.
Okay.
Actually I was busy with my rehab from the moment that I woke up.
Wow. Mentally, how do you deal with something like this or even recover from it as well?
Yeah, to be honest, I really enjoyed it. The recovery.
Really?
Yeah, it was tough, but I accepted it. And the first months, every day I could make a step. So every day I became better and better.
Wow.
And that makes it really enjoyable because in the first week I couldn't eat myself or but the whole coordination because I was I don't know, sometime without oxygen.
Right, okay.
My brain didn't get oxygen, so
yeah.
The coordination and everything that really was lost. So all the food went next to my mouth and I couldn't find my ears or whatever and even hold my phone or type a message.
Yeah.
I had to learn everything from zero again. But also it means that every day you get better at it.
Okay.
So that's what I really enjoyed.
First World Cup round, Nové Město Namaravi. How are you feeling? What's your approach? You feeling good for it?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got the new Cervélo as well?
Yeah, that's super cool. I raced on it already last week. So yeah, the bike is super cool also to work with Cervélo and on the new bike in the last year was also a nice distraction.
Yeah. The aforementioned brand new Cervélo ZFS 5, a bike designed to be a lightweight XC rocket ship, a bike that Cervélo described as progressive but racy. Sporting a 67.8 head angle and a 76-degree seat tube on their 100mm version, this bike has some pretty serious numbers. Add into the mix the fact that this full carbon frame utilises a linkage-driven single pivot with a flex stay, a design they've chosen to help keep the weight down. You're in for one heck of a ride. However, should you wish to push this bike even harder and further, there's also a 120mm version available which slackens the head angle out to a 66.6 with a reach of 469mm on a large, puts it bang in line with most modern XC bikes, and it's even got a threaded bottom bracket.
I did a mountain bike race last week and it was not easy for sure because it's completely different than road racing. So I go in open-minded and see where we go.
And we see you for a full season? Or some road as well back over?
For sure, the first 3 World Cups,
yeah.
and then we see. Because also, we had no idea
plan,
or no clue how it would be this year. I think I'm already a step ahead with my condition right now. But So after the first 3 races, we see. Sometimes I had a little setback, or how you say?
Yeah.
Because I went to Rotterdam, to the Netherlands after 3 weeks. I asked them if they could move a bike to my hospital room. And I was like, okay, let's do a recovery spin or something, like 170 watts, easy. But I stepped on the bike and I couldn't even turn the pedals.
Really?
And I had to go down to 35 watts and then I could move a little. Yeah, it's also because I lost all my muscles.
Okay.
I was just 53 kilos. And
wow.
Yeah, I wasn't even able to walk or stand on my legs was already...
Huge learning curve.
Yeah.
Then. Obviously, we're quite a bit of time on now. Are there any ongoing injuries or niggles or problems that you still suffer with?
I don't know. I feel some things are different in my body. For example, with breathing, because I think I broke 8 ribs and had both lungs collapsed.
Yeah.
So still with breathing, it feels different than normal, but I don't know if it's a limitation or whatever.
You mentioned that you started to get a bike or back on the bike as soon as you could in your hospital room. So was that then sort of setting very low, should we say, like training goals, getting back on it to build up?
Yes, I was focused on training.
Yeah.
But my coach and the doctor and everybody from the team said, okay, take it easy.
Okay.
So that's also what I did. I think my first ride outside was 1st of June last year.
Really?
So because I had a lot of fractures. I broke my spine at 11 places and multiple fractures in the face and whatever.
The first UCI mountain bike cross-country short track World Cup of 2023 is go. And now it goes fast.
It'd be a harsh reintroduction back to World Cup racing for Milan as the short track didn't quite go his way. However, cross-country Olympic was coming up and we knew this is where he could perform. All right, here's a big question. Which is more dangerous, road riding or mountain biking?
I would say on the road.
Would you?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Yeah, because a lot of things are not in your own control.
Okay.
Like a mountain bike, if you make a mistake, it's your own mistake. And most of the time, you have the decision, like, do I go over my limits or...
Okay, how hard to push almost.
How hard do I push? And on the road, it's not always the case. Like, if they crash in front of you, sometimes you're packed in the peloton and you can do nothing, so...
We've come down to the Team Jumbo-Visma pits then as Milan is about to come out and start warming up for the XCO discipline this afternoon. Now the mechanics are furiously working away on his bike, making sure everything's absolutely perfect come race time. He'll be out on the rollers in a minute warming up. We'll catch up with him after the race. was it like trying to keep motivated then during that rehab process? There must have been ups and downs to... No, just up, only like
I was
focus.
like super motivated.
Really?
I had excellent support. The most important for me was the team told me that the first priority also for them was to become like a normal human again.
Yeah.
They were not speaking about racing or riding a bike at all.
Just getting that like base function back, sort of.
They really gave me the time and the rest, also mentally, to say like, okay, just work on yourself and make sure you can enjoy life again like you normally would do.
Oh, okay.
So that was the most important thing for me, and I really appreciate it.
So there was no pressure
from
the
at
team
all.
whatsoever to get back.
It is the UCI Mountain Bike Cross Country Olympic World Cup. It's the first one of 2023 and they are go!
Okay, whilst out on track here looking at all the other riders, Vader is nowhere to be seen, sadly. I'm not sure what's going on. We're going to have to check in on the live timing. Hopefully nothing too serious on his return to racing. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Unfortunately, Milan had a crash which forced him to retire. I caught up with him a few days later to find out more about how his return to racing went. So Milan, obviously Nové Město is now done and dusted. How did it feel to be back on a World Cup start line for both the short track and XCO?
Yeah, it was hard, but it felt super good. I mean, to be back in the atmosphere, like with all the crazy fans on the side, it's like, yeah, it's super cool and so different than road cycling. So, yeah, I really felt at home.
Were you nervous, or was there any anxiety, you know, being back on the line, back with everybody? Was there any kind of anything going on in your mind or anything?
No, not really. I was just curious how it would go. And yeah, as I said, it was really hard.
Yeah, I mean, so what was sort of, it was short track first. Do you think you were ready? Kind of how do you think short track went?
Yeah, I was a bit unlucky in the start. So I ended up, okay, I started already last row, I think. And yeah, something went wrong in the start and I ended up like really in the last position. And I felt at that moment that I didn't really have the power to move up to the front. So I kind of then make one big move to the front in the last laps. But I didn't even came to that point because, yeah, I got dropped with 2 or 3 laps to go. I just couldn't follow. I would say I was a bit surprised also. But yeah, short track is just super explosive and yeah, something you don't really do in road racing.
Yeah, it's very intense. So were you surprised at just the intensity of the speed then? Because I mean, obviously, I watched from the sideline, and it looked painful.
Yeah, it was. But I believe that it will come back fast. Like when I do that a couple of times, yeah, it will come back fast.
Nice. So then on to the cross country Olympic. Then obviously, you know, pretty strong start. When I saw you go off, you were maybe top 4th, between 30 and 40th, maybe, so a really good start. And then we saw you for a couple laps. You know, Milan's going well, it's looking pretty good here. And then you disappeared on us. We couldn't see you come through. What happened?
Yeah, the start went actually pretty well, and I knew because my level was not so good to be with the top competitors. I knew I had to do my own race and take my own rhythm. So it was actually going well, apart from some mistakes here and there. But then I crashed on the BMX section in one of the last jumps, so I couldn't continue anymore.
Oh, so that, unfortunately, like, it wasn't something that could be fixed. That was kind of sadly game over.
Yeah.
Were there any injuries, like, from the crash?
No, my leg was a bit, how you say, bruised or something?
Yeah, bruised, yeah, just banged
I still
up.
can feel it. Like, in the beginning, I couldn't really walk normally.
Oh, wow.
But now it's okay.
Okay. I mean, and then obviously some valuable lessons learnt, no doubt. So will we see you at more World Cups hopefully this year then?
Yeah, sure. Lenzerheide, the next one. I will be there for sure, and Leogang as well. And after that, we make a plan what we do.
Yeah, and that's to tie in mountain biking, road racing, and everything that you've got going on in your schedule.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, Milan, it was great to meet you. Thank you very much for all your time. Loving the new Cervélo bike of yours as well, and I look forward to seeing you at Lenzerheide.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
Perfect. Thank you. Sadly, racing, well, it can be a fickle beast. Unfortunately, not going the way for Milan this time. Although great to see him back towards the racing sharp end, short track, cross-country Olympic. I know he'll be chomping at the bit to smash it out next time. However, next time is when you'll see us again. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you to Jumbo-Visma and Cervélo for having us around the pits. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you'd like to see more World Cup action, don't forget, stay tuned to GMBN Racing. Give it a like and subscribe. But for me, for now, from Nové Město, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.